There are some images that capture moments so eerie and surreal that they appear almost otherworldly, like scenes from a science fiction movie. These photographs freeze events in time that seem too bizarre to be true, yet they are real. From chilling events to untold truths that were deliberately buried beneath the sand of time. These photos, hidden for years, reveal the raw, unfiltered reality of humanity's past. What secrets do they hold, and why were they kept from us? Join us as we uncover 50 of the most eye-opening historical photos you've never seen before. Number 50. William Harley and Arthur Davidson. In 1914, William Harley and Arthur Davidson, the founders of Harley-Davidson, made history by producing one of the most iconic motorcycles in the world. By this year, their company, which started in a small shed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, had become a key player in the motorcycle industry. They introduced innovations like a 2-speed transmission and increased engine power, making their bikes popular for both civilian and military use. What makes them interesting is their ability to grow their brand from just a shared vision to an internationally recognized name. During World War I, Harley-Davidson supplied thousands of motorcycles to the US military, showcasing their reliability and performance. This success helped solidify the company's reputation. This picture is undeniably amazing, but the next photograph takes it to an entirely new level. Number 49. Mona and Beth. A powerful photograph titled Mona and Beth in the Shower was captured at Ward 81, a psychiatric facility for women located in the Oregon State Hospital. The image, taken by acclaimed photographer Mary Ellen Mark, is part of her iconic photo essay documenting life inside the ward. Mary Ellen Mark is known for her ability to capture raw and emotional moments, highlighting the humanity and struggles of marginalized individuals. Ward 81 housed women dealing with severe mental health issues. The photo essay shed light on their daily lives, often revealing both moments of tenderness and stark reality. Mona and Beth in the Shower stood out as a haunting yet compassionate portrayal of vulnerability and connection between two patients. Mark's work is praised for raising awareness about mental health and the need for compassionate care, leaving an enduring impact on both art and advocacy. Number 48. An Empire State Building worker hanging on a crane above New York City. In 1930, as workers constructed the Empire State Building in New York City, a famous image emerged of a laborer hanging from a crane high above the city. This daring scene captured the bold spirit of the workers and the incredible achievement of the building itself. The Empire State Building, completed in 1931, became a symbol of hope and resilience during the Great Depression. Standing at over 1,250 feet tall, with 102 floors, it was the tallest building in the world at the time. Its construction was remarkably fast, taking only about 14 months. It represented innovation, ambition, and the power of modern engineering. The Empire State Building remains one of the most iconic landmarks globally, attracting millions of visitors yearly. Number 47. Alfred Hitchcock in the UK. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense, visited the Thames River in the United Kingdom, seeking inspiration for his work. Known for creating some of the most iconic films in cinema, like Psycho and Rear Window, Hitchcock often drew ideas from his surroundings. The Thames, with its murky waters and atmospheric fog, likely provided the perfect backdrop for his suspenseful imagination. By this time, Hitchcock had already established himself as a pioneer in the thriller genre. He was famous for his innovative storytelling, unique camera techniques, and ability to keep audiences on the edge of their seats. His films often explored themes of mystery, fear, and the unknown, which a place like the Thames could easily evoke. Shifting focus from a cinematic genius, we now reveal a photo that captured an event that marked one of humanity's darkest periods. Number 46. An American soldier cradles a Japanese boy, sheltering him from rain. This picture was likely taken during World War II, between 1939 and 1945, a period marked by intense conflict and suffering. The image becomes even more poignant when viewed in light of the Hiroshima bombing in 1945. The atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima resulted in immense destruction, murdering tens of thousands instantly and leaving a legacy of pain for survivors. The war's impact on Japan was profound. After the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan surrendered, bringing an end to World War II. The devastation forced the nation to rebuild itself from ruins.
In an effort to hasten the end of World War II, the target was the port city of Nagasaki. The first bomb was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6th.
leading to remarkable post-war recovery and transformation. Today, Japan is a global economic power and an advocate for peace, with Hiroshima standing as a symbol of the need to eliminate nuclear weapons and foster international understanding. Number 45. Babies left to sleep outside, Moscow. It was a common practice in Moscow for babies to be left to sleep outside, even in chilly weather. This approach was based on the belief that exposure to fresh air and colder temperatures could strengthen their immune systems. Parents often bundled the infants warmly in blankets and placed them in prams or cribs outside, where they could nap. Although this method might seem unusual today, modern research suggests that controlled exposure to natural environments can indeed support immunity and development, making this historical habit a topic of continued interest in parenting and health discussions. Number 44. James Dean crash scene. In September 1955, actor James Dean tragically lost his life in a car crash involving his Porsche Spyder 550, nicknamed Little Bastard. The crash occurred near Salem, California, as Dean was driving to a racing event. At just 24 years old, his untimely death shocked the world, cutting short the career of one of Hollywood's brightest stars. James Dean was best known for his roles in iconic films like Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant.
1955, 24-year-old actor James Dean, driving in his car, crashed head-on with somebody, ultimately killing him.
His brooding charm and raw talent made him a symbol of youthful rebellion and a cultural icon. The crash also added to his legend, with the Porsche Spyder gaining notoriety as a cursed car due to a series of accidents involving its parts after the crash. Up next is a mugshot of a famous person you wouldn't have expected to find on this list. Number 43. Bill Gates mugshot. A young Bill Gates was arrested in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for driving without a license and running a stop sign. The incident resulted in a now famous mugshot that has become a quirky part of his legacy. At the time, Gates was in his early 20s and focused on building Microsoft, the company he co-founded with Paul Allen. Despite this minor legal trouble, Gates went on to revolutionize the tech industry. Microsoft, founded in 1975, became the dominant force in personal computing, thanks to innovations like the Windows operating system. Gates himself became one of the wealthiest and most influential individuals in the world.
Microsoft used Bill Gates' 1977 mugshot as the outline for their default profile photo in Microsoft Outlook's People pane.
Today, Bill Gates is known not just for his contributions to technology, but also for his philanthropy through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which works to address global health, education, and poverty issues. Number 42. Battle in front of the Capitol. In 1921, a light-hearted scene unfolded in front of the U.S. Capitol as both Republicans and Democrats engaged in a snowball fight. This playful event occurred during a particularly cold winter in Washington, D.C., and provided a rare moment of camaraderie and levity among the political rivals. Snowball fights were a popular winter activity for school children and adults alike, and this event humanized the politicians, showing that they too could enjoy simple pleasures despite their partisan differences. Number 41. Albert Einstein and his wife, Elsa Einstein. Albert Einstein, a German-born theoretical physicist, was already a celebrated figure by this time due to his groundbreaking theories of relativity. Elsa Einstein, his second wife, was a cousin and a close confidant to him. Their relationship reflected both personal and intellectual companionship. Elsa was known for her support of Einstein's work and his fame, providing a steadying influence on his often chaotic and restless personality. The couple's partnership was characterized by mutual respect and shared interests in science and humanitarian causes. In the 1930s, as the Nazi regime rose to power in Germany, they moved to the United States, where Einstein continued his scientific work at Princeton University. Elsa's role as his wife became even more crucial, as she managed their social life and supported Einstein through his transition to American academia. Number 40. The Oval Office is John Kennedy Jr.'s playground. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, John Kennedy Jr., the son of President John F. Kennedy, often played in his father's office at the White House, creating what was affectionately known as Daddy's office. These images humanized the Kennedy family, showing a softer, more personal side of the presidential life. John Jr.'s innocent antics were a heartwarming contrast to the serious and often tumultuous political world around him. Tragically, John Kennedy Jr. died in a plane crash in 1999 at the age of 38. His brief life, with its glimpses of innocence in the midst of political history, continues to be a reminder of the personal costs of the Kennedy family's public life. Number 39. Anne Franks and her father, Otto. This picture, Otto Frank, the father of Anne Frank, returned to the hiding place in Amsterdam where his family had been concealed during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands. The Frank family hid in a secret annex above Otto's business premises from 1942 to 1944. This period of hiding is detailed in Anne Frank's diary, which has since become a symbol of the Holocaust. Otto Frank's visit to the former hiding place was a deeply emotional moment for him.
Especially her self-criticism. It was quite a different honor I had known as my daughter.
After the war, he was the sole survivor of his immediate family, losing his wife and daughters, Anne and Margot, to the Holocaust. Revisiting the secret annex allowed him to confront the painful memories of their time in hiding and the brutal loss his family suffered. Number 38. American soldier wearing the crown of the Holy Roman Empire. In a cave. During World War II, an American soldier was photographed wearing the crown of the Holy Roman Empire in a cave in Siegen, Germany. The Holy Roman Empire's crown, a symbol of centuries of European history, was found in a cave where German soldiers had hidden it to protect it from the advancing Allied forces. American forces were sweeping through Germany, encountering remnants of the Nazi regime and historical artifacts left behind in a desperate bid to preserve them. The soldier wearing the crown in a cave symbolized the end of a long era, both militarily and culturally, and coming into contact with a different world being forged by the advancing Allies. Number 37. Home from war. During and after World War II, many soldiers like the one shown here faced the heartbreaking realization of returning home only to find their homes destroyed and their families dead. This painful scene captured the devastating impact of the war on countless families. The war's brutal sweep across Europe had torn apart communities, leaving survivors to grapple with unimaginable loss. Number 36. The Beatles before their iconic Abbey Road shot. Before the Beatles' iconic Abbey Road shot in 1969, they were at the peak of their fame and musical creativity. In the late 1960s, the group was nearing the end of their journey as a band, but their influence was already immense. The Beatles, which included John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison and Ringo Starr, had revolutionized the music industry with their innovative sound and groundbreaking albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and The White Album. The Abbey Road album cover, featuring the band crossing the street in a line, has become one of the most famous and imitated images in music history. Before this iconic shot, the Beatles were busy in the studio, experimenting with new sounds, recording techniques, and exploring deeper themes in their lyrics. The Beatles may have countless admirers, but one thing people clearly cherish just as much is antiques as beautifully showcased in this picture. Number 35. An assortment of antique chairs. In an antique shop, New York. An assortment of antique chairs in an antique shop in New York City were arranged in a peculiar manner, making the most of every available space, even using the roof. This unique display reflects the charm and character of New York City's antique culture. Antique shops in New York have long been treasured for their eclectic collections, offering a glimpse into the city's rich history and diverse cultural past. Even today, antiques remain a significant part of New York's cultural landscape. The city's numerous antique stores, flea markets, and even street vendors are filled with an array of vintage goods.
The Ontario Mall. It is a massive antique mall. According to the sign, it's the largest antique mall in New York.
Visitors and locals alike can stumble upon everything from furniture and artwork to vintage clothing, jewelry, and records. Number 34. John Wayne. John Wayne, born Marion Robert Morrison on May 26, 1907, in Winterset, Iowa, went on to become one of the most iconic and enduring figures in American cinema. Known for his rugged persona and commanding screen presence, Wayne became synonymous with the American West, portraying larger-than-life cowboys and rugged heroes. Wayne's career spanned over 5 decades, during which he appeared in more than 170 films. He became a Hollywood legend for his roles in westerns and war movies, such as Stagecoach, True Grit, and The Searchers. His iconic role solidified his reputation as the quintessential American cowboy, embodying values like bravery, strength, and a sense of justice. Off-screen, Wayne was a patriotic figure, known for his staunch conservative beliefs and support for American military efforts. This next picture is on a positive side of things. Number 33. Night fishing in Hawaii. Night fishing in Hawaii has a long tradition, dating back centuries. As seen in this photo, it was a common practice for local fishermen to cast their nets under the cover of night, utilizing the calm waters and cooler air. The types of fish commonly caught during night fishing include tuna, mahi-mahi, snapper, and grouper. These fish are not only vital for local diets, but also play a significant role in Hawaii's economy. Fishing is a crucial part of the state's commercial industry, providing employment and sustenance for many families. However, recent times have brought challenges to the practice. Overfishing, habitat loss, and climate change threaten marine life and the sustainability of fish stocks. Environmental regulations and restrictions have been implemented to protect fish populations and marine ecosystems. Number 32. German soldier goes against orders, helping a boy cross the new Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall, built by the German Democratic Republic, who were formerly known as East Germany, to prevent East Berliners from fleeing to the west, physically and ideologically divided the city. This act of defiance by the soldier was a rare moment during the Cold War, symbolizing the human desire for freedom and the individual's struggle against authoritarian control. The Berlin Wall was eventually broken down. The fall of the Berlin Wall occurred on November 9, 1989, during a period of political upheaval in Eastern Europe. East German officials mistakenly announced that citizens could visit West Germany, prompting a massive influx of East Germans to the wall. Crowds gathered at the wall, and border guards opened the gates, allowing people to cross freely. This event marked the beginning of the end of the wall, leading to its complete demolition in the following months. Number 31. George Carlin arrested. On May 27, 1972, George Carlin was arrested in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for violating the state's obscenity laws during his performance of the controversial routine titled 7 Words You May Never Say on Television. This routine, which featured Carlin listing 7 vulgar and offensive words, challenged the societal norms around language and censorship. The arrest brought significant attention to Carlin's work and the broader discussion about freedom of expression in the United States. It marked a turning point in his career, as the routine became iconic and eventually led to landmark Supreme Court cases, such as FCC versus Pacifica Foundation in 1978, which addressed the boundaries of broadcast indecency. Buckle up, because this next picture is as tragic as it gets. Number 30. Michael Rockefeller before his disappearance. Before his mysterious disappearance, Michael Rockefeller, the youngest son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller, was in Papua New Guinea on an ethnological expedition. Rockefeller, an anthropologist and art collector, was fascinated by the indigenous cultures of the region, particularly the Asmat people. His journey into the remote Asmat region of Western New Guinea was part of his quest to study and document their traditional arts and cultures. Rockefeller's disappearance occurred while he was collecting artifacts for the Museum of Primitive Art in New York. Believed to have been a victim of the Asmat cannibals, the exact circumstances of his death remain uncertain to this day. Number 29. Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan. Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan were two of the most iconic figures in sports, and their meeting, as shown in this photograph during the Barcelona Olympics, was a historic moment. Muhammad Ali, a legendary heavyweight boxer known for his charisma, courage, and influence in the boxing world, was nearing the end of his career due to Parkinson's disease. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, was at the peak of his basketball career with the Chicago Bulls, having won multiple NBA championships and becoming a global sports superstar.
MJ. Oh, he did it! Michael shakes the finger!
Their meeting was significant, not only because of their sports achievements, but also because it represented the passing of the torch from one generation of athletic greatness to the next. Number 28. Pamela Anderson. This Pamela Anderson picture of her riding a motorcycle became an iconic image that captured the essence of the 1990s. She is a Canadian-American actress.
So Eddie's pretty cute. How long you guys been together?
2 years next month.
2 years? I've never made it that long.
Model and media personality, best known for her iconic role as C.J. Parker on the television series Baywatch. Born on July 1, 1967, in Ladysmith, British Columbia, Canada, Anderson rose to fame in the 1990s as a symbol of Hollywood glamour and beauty appeal. Before gaining fame on TV, Anderson started her career as a model, appearing in Playboy magazine's Playmate of the Month in February 1990. Beyond her acting career, Anderson has been involved in various philanthropic efforts, particularly focusing on animal rights and environmental issues. Anderson has faced personal challenges and controversies throughout her life, including issues related to her marriages and personal scandals. Number 27. The Great Depression. During the Great Depression in the United States, many families faced severe economic hardships, and school children were among the most vulnerable. This picture, taken in 1930, is of school children lining up for a free issue of soup and a slice of bread, indicating widespread poverty and unemployment that gripped the nation. The Great Depression was primarily triggered by the stock market crash, leading to widespread panic and a severe drop in asset prices. This financial collapse was compounded by overproduction and underconsumption in the economy, as businesses produced more goods than consumers could buy. Bank failures further intensified the crisis, as many lost their savings when banks closed. Number 26. Beautiful women archers. In the mid-20th century, the image of beautiful women archers became iconic, symbolizing both strength and grace. During this period, women were increasingly participating in competitive sports, including archery. The sport was seen not only as a test of skill and precision, but also as a display of elegance and femininity. These women archers challenged traditional gender roles by participating in archery competitions, showcasing their athletic prowess while defying stereotypes about women's capabilities in physical sports. Their participation in archery tournaments during the 1940s and 1950s brought them into the public eye, inspiring other women to pursue sports professionally. Number 25. Father Luis Padilla. During the Vietnam War, Father Luis Padilla stood out as a symbol of courage and compassion amidst the chaos of battle. As a chaplain with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, he put himself in harm's way to tend to the wounded and comfort soldiers on the front lines. The photograph of him holding a wounded soldier under fire while searching for the sniper responsible for the attack became an iconic image. After the Vietnam War, Father Luis Padilla's courageous actions and commitment to serving his fellow soldiers did not go unnoticed. In recognition of his bravery, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the second highest military award for valor in combat, by the United States Army. Number 24. Wedding rings removed from Holocaust victims. In 1945, as Allied forces liberated the concentration camps in Europe, they uncovered harrowing evidence of the atrocities committed during the Holocaust. Among the items recovered were wedding rings that had been removed from the bodies of victims before they were executed. These rings were taken as valuables by the Nazi regime, who sought to strip their victims of their dignity and humanity. Number 23. The real Amon Goeth before the movie. Schindler's List. The real Amon Goeth was born in 1908 in Vienna, Austria, and joined the Nazi Party and SS in the early 1930s. As a commandant, he was responsible for overseeing the forced labor and mass executions of Jews, including the deportation of thousands to death camps. His sadistic behavior included shooting prisoners from his balcony for sport, which is vividly depicted in Schindler's List, where Ralph Fiennes plays the character. After the war, Goeth was captured, tried, and found guilty of war crimes. He was sentenced to death and executed by hanging in 1946. This next picture, though, shows how impressive human innovation actually is. Number 22. The first car factory in the United States. In 1926, the first car factory in the United States for Ford Motor Company marked a significant milestone in the automotive industry. Founded by Henry Ford in 1903, the Ford Motor Company revolutionized the way automobiles were manufactured more efficiently by dramatically reducing the time it took to build a car from hours to just minutes. The factory opened in Highland Park, Michigan, and was the first to feature the moving assembly line. This innovative system transformed the production process by allowing cars to be assembled. The introduction of the assembly line at the Highland Park factory enabled Ford to produce automobiles at a lower cost, making them more affordable to the average American. This not only expanded the car market, but also greatly increased Ford's profitability. Number 21. Fire Brigade Training. As seen here, fire brigade training involved rigorous and physically demanding exercises designed to prepare firefighters for the extreme conditions they would face in emergencies. The training was intentionally harsh to build resilience, physical fitness, and mental toughness. Firefighters were subjected to intense physical drills, including carrying heavy equipment like hoses and ladders, climbing up and down multi-story training towers, and performing rescue drills. These exercises were meant to simulate real-life scenarios where firefighters had to perform tasks such as breaking down doors, carrying victims, and navigating smoke-filled environments. In addition to physical conditioning, trainees underwent rigorous instruction on fire behavior, building construction, and hazardous materials. They were trained to recognize different types of fires and how to handle them using appropriate techniques and equipment. This included learning how to use fire extinguishers, operate hoses, and deploy the fire apparatus. Number 20. The Great Depression. By 1942, the Great Depression was in full swing, and it profoundly impacted the lives of many Americans. This historic image from this period shows a man holding a sign demanding his life savings of $29.50 from the Bankers Trust Cohen at 14 Wall Street, New York City. The Great Depression resulted in massive unemployment, widespread poverty, and bank failures. People's life savings were lost due to bank closures, leaving many unable to access their funds. Number 19. The Ladies of the Family. You can tell from this aged picture that during the 1900s, family life was structured around clear roles, especially for women. Most families were large, with parents and several children living under one roof. Women were expected to run the household, raise the children, and take care of their husbands. It was rare for women to work outside the home, especially in middle-class or wealthy families. Their duties often included cooking, cleaning, sewing, and managing daily tasks, which required long hours and lots of energy. Society at the time placed strict expectations on women. They were seen as the caregivers and moral guides of the family, but had limited opportunities for education, personal freedom, or work. Their opinions were often overlooked, and they had to depend on their fathers or husbands financially and socially. Number 18. Marine Sergeant Frank Prater and his kitten. In 1952, during the Korean War, Marine Sergeant Frank Prater was captured in a tender moment that became iconic. He was photographed feeding a tiny orphan kitten with a medicine dropper. The kitten had lost its mother during the war, and Prater decided to care for it, naming it Miss Hap because she was born by accident. Sergeant Frank Prater survived the war and returned home safely. As for his kitten, Miss Hap, she could not be brought back to the United States due to strict military regulations and quarantine rules for animals at the time. Prater reportedly left her in the care of a fellow Marine who stayed behind in Korea. While their time together was brief, their bond, captured in that iconic photograph, became a lasting symbol of compassion and humanity amidst the devastation of war. Number 17. Al Capone's trial. In 1931, Al Capone, one of the most notorious mobsters in American history, was finally brought to trial in Chicago. During the trial, as we see here, some mobsters were photographed hiding their faces with hats, newspapers, or their hands to avoid recognition. Charged with tax evasion rather than his more infamous crimes like bootlegging and racketeering, the trial was a turning point in the fight against organized crime. Many mobsters and associates attended the proceedings, but they went to great lengths to avoid being identified. Al Capone's trial ended on October 17, 1931, with a guilty verdict. He was convicted on 5 counts of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. Capone was also ordered to pay a fine of $50,000 and court costs of nearly $8,000, a substantial penalty at the time. Number 16. Patrick Swayze, just before he passed away. Patrick Swayze, a beloved actor known for iconic roles in movies like Dirty Dancing and Ghost, faced a devastating battle with pancreatic cancer in his final years. Diagnosed in January 2008, he continued to work while undergoing treatment, including chemotherapy and experimental substances. His resilience inspired many as he filmed his television series, The Beast.
Patrick starts filming a 13-part TV series called The Beast.
In America, and especially Hollywood, they love a comeback.
Refusing to let the illness define him. In his last public appearances in 2009, the effects of the disease were visibly harsh. Swayze had lost significant weight, and his once vibrant energy was subdued. Despite this, he remained hopeful and determined. advocating for cancer research and sharing his journey to raise awareness. On September 14, 2009, Patrick Swayze passed away at 57 years old. Number 15. Robin Williams and the Cheerleading Squad. In 1980, Robin Williams, the comedic genius and actor beloved for his boundless energy,
and if you're in a party mood, they have the prophylactic or the Fiesta condom so you can turn your penis into a piñata.
surprised everyone by joining the cheerleading squad at a college football game. Known for his ability to light up any room with his humor, Williams brought his signature charm to the sidelines. Dressed in a cheerleader's uniform, he jumped, danced, and cracked jokes, captivating both the crowd and the players. However, the jolly comedic actor wasn't always jolly. Robin Williams passed away on August 11, 2014, at the age of 63. He died by ending his life at his home in Paradise Cay, California. After his death, it was revealed that he had been battling Lewy body dementia, a severe and progressive brain disease that causes cognitive decline, hallucinations, and motor issues. This condition, misdiagnosed as Parkinson's disease during his life, contributed to his struggles with anxiety, depression, and confusion. Number 14. Family says their final goodbye to their son. This photo was taken in 1990, where David Kirby's father, surrounded by family, embraced him, offering a final act of love and comfort as David succumbed to AIDS in a hospital in Ohio. David was just 32 years old when he passed away, having been diagnosed with AIDS a few years earlier. This moment was captured in a powerful and heart-wrenching photograph by photographer Therese Frere. Number 13. The Statue of Liberty just arrived in New York City. In 1885, the Statue of Liberty, a gift from France to the United States, arrived in New York City. The colossal statue, designed by French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi and built by Gustave Eiffel, who was the same engineer behind the Eiffel Tower, was a symbol of friendship and democracy. It was shipped across the Atlantic in over 300 pieces, packed into more than 200 crates. The statue arrived in New York Harbor by steamship and was then transported to Bedloe's Island, now Liberty Island, where it would be assembled and unveiled to the public. Number 12. A railroad track inspector assisted by his dogs. It's unknown when exactly this picture was taken, but a railroad track inspector's job was physically demanding and required a sharp eye for detail.
That gives you a telltale sign there's something wrong when it's hot in the summertime.
Very good.
Ensuring the safety of trains and passengers. The inspector would walk miles along the tracks daily, looking for cracks, loose bolts, or misaligned rails. He carried tools like a track gauge and wrenches to measure and fix issues on the spot. Early mornings and long hours were typical, with constant exposure to the elements, from scorching sun to freezing rain. Number 11. D-Day veterans, then and now. D-Day veterans, decades after the pivotal event of June 6, 1944, sat in the very planes that once dropped them into the chaos of Normandy. This moment was a powerful blend of past and present, as these aging heroes reflected on the courage and sacrifice of their younger selves. Back then, these veterans accomplished one of the most significant military feats in modern history by storming the beaches of Normandy. This operation, known as Operation Overlord, marked the beginning of the Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe during World War II. And now for our top 10 shocking pictures that were hidden from us, we have this next one that has stood the test of time. Number 10. A Serbian with his father. In 1914, during the early months of World War I, an exhausted Serbian soldier was photographed sleeping on the front line near Belgrade, with his father also fast asleep beside him. Number 9. Jail cell from the Salem witch trials. During the Salem witch trials of 1692, accused individuals were held in jail cells like the one shown here in Salem, Massachusetts, as they awaited their fate. These dark, cramped cells were cold, damp, and poorly lit, reflecting the harsh conditions of the time. Prisoners accused of witchcraft often endured long waits, filled with fear and uncertainty, before their trials or executions. Number 8. 3 kids on Halloween. In the early 1900s, Halloween was a simple yet eerie affair, and these 3 kids spotted here dressed in spooky costumes perfectly captured the original spirit of the season. Unlike today's bright and commercialized outfits, costumes from this era were often handmade and unsettling. The children's outfits, likely crafted from old clothes, burlap, or paper, featured haunting masks and tattered fabrics, evoking a ghostly, mysterious vibe. Number 7. the Amityville Horror House. In 1976, a photograph taken inside the infamous Amityville Horror House became one of the most chilling images in paranormal history. The house, located in Amityville, New York, gained notoriety after a gruesome murder in 1974, where 6 members of the DeFeo family were put to death by Ronald DeFeo Jr. The following year, the Lutz family moved in, but fled after just 28 days, claiming the house was haunted by malevolent forces. Number 6. New car in South Richmond, Virginia. In 1938, this photo of a new car in South Richmond, Virginia was taken.
How many Model A's do you have?
I think we have 9 right now.
You have 9, right?
Maybe 10.
Okay.
At that time, it was more than just a vehicle. It was a symbol of progress and hope during the final years of the Great Depression. Automobiles at the time were sleek, stylish, and increasingly affordable, reflecting advancements in mass production pioneered by companies like Ford and General Motors. Number 5. A boy makes a friend with an elephant. A young boy formed a heartwarming bond with an elephant at the London Zoo, as shown here in 1958. Zoos in this era were not just places for education and conservation, but also spots for families to connect with animals in ways that felt magical. The boy, likely visiting with his family, approached the gentle giant with curiosity and excitement, an experience that showed us the innocence and wonder of childhood. Number 4. American soldier and his pet baby kangaroo. As seen here, in 1942, an American soldier stationed at an advanced Allied base found an unlikely companion, which turned out to be a baby kangaroo. The soldier, like many during World War II, faced long days and harsh conditions, but caring for the Joey brought a sense of comfort and normalcy. Likely rescued from the wild, the tiny kangaroo became a mascot for the troops, offering moments of joy amid the chaos of war. Number 3. U.S. Army nurses sunbathing next to a twin cannon rifle. After World War II, in 1945, some U.S. Army nurses who were pictured aboard a Coast Guard troop ship returning from Europe found a moment of respite from their arduous service by sunbathing next to a twin 40mm cannon rifle. Number 2. USS Indianapolis survivor. In 1945, the USS Indianapolis was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine in the Philippine Sea, leading to one of the greatest naval disasters in American history. The ship was delivering critical parts of the atomic bomb to the island of Tinian when it was struck. Of the 1,298 crew members, only a little over 300 survived. Among the survivors was a man pictured here who endured unimaginable horrors such as burning oil and relentless shark attacks. And now for our final shocking picture from the past. Number 1. Camp Nou Stadium, Barcelona. In 1925, Camp Nou Stadium in Barcelona was just a grassy field on the outskirts of the city, far from the grand, iconic structure it would later become. The image from that time shows a modest scene where spectators gathered on the rocky hillside, watching a football match played on a sandy pitch. The players wore old, mismatched kits, reflecting the humble beginnings of the sport in Spain. The match itself was a far cry from the modern game. The field was simple, with no stands or amenities, and the spectators perched on the rocks were there to cheer on their teams with a passion that transcended the simple conditions. This period marked the early days of football in Barcelona, where the sport was just beginning to gain a foothold in the local culture. The humble beginnings of Camp Nou highlight the sport's grassroots origins in Spain, as football was primarily played on makeshift fields before evolving into the grand game it is today. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.